proletariat, no?
Grabe, sobrang mahal sa Singapore. So I was like shocked. I knew real estate was expensive and all. Alam ko yung kotse just to get the license for the cars. Presyo na isang BMW, di ba? But I didn't know the daily living costs in Singapore were so high. Kaya yung mga kaibigan ko, tumatakas lahat ngayon sa Singapore. So they work as non-resident fellows in Singapore, but they're in Bangkok, for instance, right?
Yeah.
So yun. Kasi I was supposed to work in Singapore a few years ago, pero ibang story na yan. Maraming hugot lines. Move on na tayo. Alright. Okay. Let's talk about Philippines first before we go to the big picture. Marami tayong pag-usapan. West Philippine Sea, Global South. May travel na naman si Bongbong Marcos. Papunta naman
Of
dyan.
course.
Saudi Arabia, mas sosyal pa sa Singapore. Ay nako, pag yaman ang pinag-usapan, walang binatbat ang Singapore sa Middle East. The level in the Middle East is next level. I know that for a fact. Pero bago tayo pumunta dyan, let's talk about another letter R. Romualdez, alright? Balikan natin ang Pilipinas, Secretary Llamas. First, let's talk about this. So, parang, is this the first time the Speaker of the House goes to Pag-asa and talks about construction? I mean, like, may billboard na rin ba si Romualdez? Like sila Gibo and all? May billboard na rin si Rizzo. Di pero, tayo na lang walang billboard ngayon ah. Habol natin yan.
Siyempre, magkakaugnay yan, no?
Yeah.
Siyempre, it's hitting three birds with one stone. Diba? Yung pagtanggal ng CIIF ni Vice President Sara, Secretary of Education, yung paglipat niyan sa Coast Guard, partly, at ikatlo ay yung, anong sabi nila? On the right side of history, no? Pushing the envelope further sa usapin ng West Philippine Sea by going there himself together with the head ng Appropriations Committee, si Saldico. Anong ginagawa ni Saldico ron?
Yeah.
Anong ginagawa ng head ng APRO? So, magkakaugnay yan, no? Hindi lang nila tinanggal yung CIIF ni Sara, hindi lang nila inilipat sa Coast Guard, kung hindi gusto nilang makita na nandun sila mismo. No? Yeah. So, I think there will be more of that, you know, going into the midterms.
Yeah. I mean, Secretary Mas, again, this vindicates yung argument ko no, na in the Philippines, foreign policy is becoming kind of a linchpin of domestic politics, which is usually the opposite, right? They say all politics is domestic, it's local. But in the Philippines, the most parochial country, suddenly, West Philippine Sea has become some sort of a whip used by one faction against another faction. No? So it looks like Secretary Llamas, Ronald, no? Na it looks like gagamitin itong issue ng West Philippines. Oh, well, I'm not questioning the patriotism, of course, of our elites, but looks like you can weaponize the West Philippines issue, right? To push the Duterte aside.
With more than 90% of Filipinos critical of China, I think this is not simply a political tactic.
Yeah.
This is moving towards the level of strategy. No? I think in the next few years, even decades, yung international policy, especially on the issue of the West Philippine Sea, will be a dominant issue in our politics. Especially with the other side, the Duterte, the Arroyo, Vice President Sara, identified more towards China. No?
Yeah.
Nakita mo ba yung statement ni President Duterte last week? Na sinabi niya na tubig lang naman yan eh. Bigyan na natin kay Xi Jinping. No? It's just water. Kunin na lang natin yung isda, bigyan na natin sa kanya yung dagat. No? That reasonable statement.
Oh my God!
Talagang gagamitin ng gusto.
Wait lang. Ulitin natin. Did he just say tanggalin natin yung isda tsaka yung oil sa kanila na yung tubig? Is that... I've never seen. This is crazy. Oh my God.
Did you hear that?
Sa dami niyang sinabing out of this world. I'm sorry. Like, I missed that one. Pwede
So,
pala hiwalay yung isda sa tubig.
kaya with that
Talagang tatay
context,
talaga.
lalong
Oh my
baka
God.
nga ang gawin ni
Oh my
Speaker
God.
Martin tsaka ni Aprohead
Love trip.
Daddy ko, baka magtayo na sila ng bahay nila sa Pag-asa. No? At doon na sila every weekend pumunta. No? Dahil malinaw na the lines are drawn.
Oh my
no?
God.
Especially on foreign policy.
Yeah.
Kaya nga, on one side, politics is local. On the other side, in the Philippines,
Yeah.
politics is international.
International, but let me be clear, pambarangay yung pag-iisip ng isang kampo. In fact, let me correct it. After this whole separate the water from the isda proposal, next level, parang I'm beginning to think it's an insult to barangay chairman because I suppose yung barangay chairman namin sa QC medyo mas sophisticated mag-isip. I mean, di ba may barangay din tayo sa Pag-asa? I'm sure those guys, yung may mayor na nga tayo, would think better. So, ayan na naman tayo. Kaya nga, ito, Boss Ronald, you know, I had a long conversation with the Chinese-American friends of mine the other day dito sa conference sa Singapore. These are good guys. These are yung mga galit sa China, kaya nasa US na. And I was talking about how based on my own understanding, my family's own history, you know, I always felt China was way more sophisticated than Russia. I mean, if it goes down to the two authoritarian superpowers, I always felt it because my grandfather comes from a region occupied by Soviet Union back in the day, so they will tell me about these horrible stories of Soviet troops and etc. And my own experience of dealing with Russians, right? I mean, they're fantastic people, but I know they're quite different. But sometimes I wonder, gaano ka sophisticated ang China if, like, ito ba yung kanilang mga bata sa Pilipinas? I mean, like, doesn't China get it? Like, medyo wala. It's not gonna work. This whole get the isda, give the water. I mean, this doesn't look like quote-unquote sound to me. Medyo sabog na talaga to, sabog geopolitics. So don't you think the Chinese should learn lesson and find some more maybe they should talk to Ronald and Richard more than Bakery Forum.
They're now celebrating in Beijing the 10th anniversary of the Belt and Road Initiative.
Yeah, of course.
And everybody will be there. Afghanistan will be there. Iran will be there. No, South Africa will be there. No, etc. etc. So in one sense, they are sophisticated. No, they're picking up the pieces na hindi kasama dun sa US, Europe camps. No, but at the same time, they're not very choosy. No? They're not very choosy.
Wait lang, Secretary Llamas, nakaka-excited ko. I forgot to press record. Ulitin natin to. Saan context na ng conversation natin
Wala
is...
ka, Richard.
So, pasensya na. Inulit ko. Hindi ko pala na-press. No, so the context of the conversation, the context of the conversation, Secretary Llamas, sorry, I pressed the record. I didn't press the record. 1 second, ulitin natin. So sobrang excited ko, I'm so sorry. So so we were talking about divisions within Philippine politics driven by high-level geopolitics. But just when we talk about high-level geopolitics, you have Tatay Digong essentially suggesting his own version of joint development. Sa inyo yung tubig, sa amin yung isda. Like, is that what he really said? Check ko nga. I mean, this is crazy. So, ang tanong ko sa'yo, Boss Ronald, is, bakit ang China umaasa sa mga ganyan aliado sa Pilipinas kung ganyan yung level of sophistication? Let me apologize to all barangay chairman in the Philippines. I used to call this barangay geopolitics, but this looks like something totally different. Don't you think the Chinese should start talking to Ronald Llamas maybe more than Bakery Forum boys or something like that?
Pero nakita mo, all out sila kay Digong, especially in giving him medical support in Davao when he was president. Pero, hindi naman talaga sila nag-invest. Diba? Yung commitments nila sa Pilipinas, especially with the Belt and Road Initiative, wala naman masyadong pumasok . I'm not even sure if it's part of the Belt and Road Initiative, no? Of the more than 1 trillion na ininvest nila sa BRI, no? Gaano kalaki yung pumasok sa Pilipinas? Considering yung ating strategic value, considering yung pro-China position ng pinakamataas na opisyal ng Pilipinas. No? So, baka nag-hedge din sila. No?
Yeah.
Hindi rin sila sigurado kay Digong. No? Dahil nga alam nila, may saya dito eh. May konting saya dito eh. No? Kahit ito ay very pro-China, no? Hindi nila maasahan na yung i-invest nila ay magagamit na maayos. I think that's one of the issues. Kaya tingin ko ay nag-agree sila sa iyo, no, na marami silang second, third at saka fourth thoughts with their ally here, President Duterte.
With their self-appointed special envoy. We can talk about the other real special envoy, si Teddy Boy, shortly. But I mean, going back to this, I mean, this of course this year is this month is going to be the 10th anniversary gathering of the Belt and Road Initiative. But Ronald, did you know that this year ang theme is going to be, based on my sources in China, is going to be small is beautiful because wala nang pera, wala nang pera ang China. So they don't have money anymore for those big ticket infrastructure projects. In short, we lost a golden opportunity under Digong to juice it. Sa sobrang incompetent niya, sa sobrang naive niya, sa sobrang pang below barangay yung level niya, yung 6 years na ng slavish foreign policy niya, he was not able to get one big ticket infrastructure project. No Mindanao Railway, no Clark. Sana, I mean, not even the first phase, not yung like first na ganyan lang. Wala. So wala na. For me, I don't think we can ever get really big ticket from China anymore because their theme now is small is beautiful, meaning literally pang LGU level na lang yung project nila.
Look at the bright side. Dadami ang ating Ratan project. No? Dadami ang ating mga piggy bank projects made of coconut. No? Dadami ang ating mga mga environmental beautiful projects. No?
Yeah.
So,
exactly.
The bright side. Ikaw kasi masyado kang macro eh. Masyado kang think big eh. Masyado kang global eh.
Kasi, Ronald, Grand tayo. Grand Prix. Diba? Medyo sumasabay ako sa natin, president natin. Grand Prix.
Wala nang ibibigay na credit. The biggest creditor in the world. Wala nang sila ibibigay na credit.
Wala
so,
na.
Ang papasukan na nila, yung tipong Yunus, microcredit. Papasok nila sa microcredit.
Wait lang, yung Yunus Gramin medyo under investigation for corruption yan. No? But anyways, mahabang usapan yung Bangladesh case. Bago tayo mag-Bangladesh. So yun nga like yung 6 years ni Digong, sana naman may nakuha siya kahit Mindanao Railway. Wala talaga siyang nakuha. So,
meron tayo nakuha. Ano ka ba?
Yung
meron tulay. May dalawang tulay.
Let me, Ronald, explain to you kasi nakatira ako doon dati nung konyo pa ako. Ngayon kasi QC na lang ako eh. Ganito kasi yun eh. Yung dalawa lang yung lane, tapos maging apat doon sa bridge, tapos maging dalawa ulit. Like, not sure how is that gonna work. Like, here, traffic, and then, wow, luwang, and then traffic ulit. Like, what? I mean, that was ridiculous.
Ayun yung problema. You should learn to count your blessings, no? You should learn to count your blessings.
You mean two years of traffic sa Rockwell area?
Binigyan na kayo ng 2 tulay. Ayaw niyo pang magpasalamat.
Syempre, yung contractor Chinese, yung workers Chinese, yung budget Chinese, parang sila lang kumita. But yeah, of course, actually, to be honest, Ronald, siguro dapat thankful tayo na walang nangyaring big ticket Chinese infrastructure project kasi baka purong utang yan nag-debt trap. So, tama yung sinabi ko, pledge trap lang nangyari hanggang pledge lang. At kanina actually suggestion ko, kasi nag-announce na naman yung best friends natin sa Department of Trade and Industry. Lumaki na daw yung pledges. So sabi ko, Department of Pledges na lang tawag ko sa inyo.
Kaya nga papalitan na siya.
Dapat Marojas, no? Feeling ko dapat sana. Pero sino kung hindi si Maro?
Puro MOU eh. Puro mga...
Department of MOU. Department.
Kaya, tingnan mo, ano ba yung natuloy? Dito. No? Yun ang natuloy. Tingnan mo, the Chinese company na naging kasosyo lang dito is losing billions. No? Kaya I doubt kung may papasok na Chinese dito. Yung CCCC na partner nila Gatchalian dun sa reclamation sa likod ng US Embassy, that's dead. Yeah. So you now have 8,000 workers here being paid, no? Being paid to do nothing, no? Kaya ito rin naman yung mga horror stories.
Baka pupunta sila sa Pogo. Baka mag-Pogo na lang sila.
Even Pogo, wala na.
Oh,
No?
actually,
Even Pogo,
pati yun,
wala
wala na rin. I mean, as in
So,
levels of kapalpakan talaga yung nangyari pa na yung
ah,
tatay, no? Like, lahat palpak eh. Lahat palpak. Yung reclamation projects palpak. Yung Pogo, kapalpakan. Yung mga BRI projects na... Actually, para maawa ka sa China na yan ang naging counterpart at kaibigan nila. Sa lahat pa naman pwede nilang piliin, bakit yan ang naging counterpart nila, no? Kaya...
nagreklamo sa akin dati, Chinese ambassador. Dahil they're offering free prime rice, no? In thousands of metric tons. Nireject natin. Bakit? Wala tayong silos na paglalagyan.
yeah, yes,
Wala tayong
yes.
paglalagyan. Imagine,
Yes, yes,
libre
yes,
hindi
yes,
bibilin.
yes.
No? So, hindi makapaniwala yung Chinese
Correct,
that we
correct.
are rejecting their thousands of metric tons of Class A rice just because we don't have a place to put them. No?
Yeah.
So, hindi mo rin masisisi yung China. Ang dami rin nilang horror stories na naranasan nung panahon ni Duterte.
Yeah, actually, yun nga. I mean, just to be clear, I mean, ako, my stance on China is very nuanced. Later on, we'll talk about China as a peace breaker in other parts of the world. I know sa Philippines, pag sinabi ko China peace breaker, what? But actually, China is seen very positively in other regions, including the Middle East, because actually, they're doing many good things there. Kaya para sa akin, nasasayangan ako na sa sobrang amateur hour yung nangyari. Binuli na nga tayo, wala pa tayong nakuha dun sa pag-aano natin sa kanila ng panahon ni tatay. So, actually, I feel frustrated about this because I think we could have had a better quality relationship with China. I was never against having stronger relationship, but yung quality kasi matters, yung terms matter, di ba? Kasi yun yung naging concern ko. Kaya nung panahon nyo, nung nasa power kayo, medyo nainis yung iba sa akin. I was seen as the pro-China guy. I mean, can you imagine Darian seen as because I wanted the quality relationship. Ayoko naman yung awayan lang sila for... Because I think China can offer... You see, now I'm in Malaysia. Billions of investments of China is coming here. Their trade is more than half of our GDP. Totoo yan na may concern sila about debt trap. What happened? Mahathir, when to China negotiated, they took out billions out of yung dapat debt. So, maayos dito sa Malaysia, kitang-kita yung investments ng China, napakaganda para sa kanila. And a lot of their Proton cars here are yung Geely cars sa Pilipinas na rebrand lang nila dito. So look at it. Actually, if you play your cards well, sa aking palagay, you can have a very good relationship with China. Pero kung amateur ka, mahina ka, talagang walang mangyari sa'yo. They'll get you on the cheap or maduterte ka, di ba? So doon ako na-frustrate. Pero ang concern ko ngayon, Ronald, is wala na, small is beautiful na lang ang China kasi wala na rin silang pera eh. Nagagalit na yung mga tao sa China na ang daming walang trabaho, ang daming youth unemployment, slow down economy, tapos magbibigay lang tayo ng pera sa iba. So, there's a backlash inside China right now. If you don't believe me, look at the reports on the ground in China. I have my contacts, so I know what's going on inside. So watch out for the speech of President Xi Jinping. The term beautiful, small is beautiful. You're gonna hear that a lot, which means, sorry, wala na yung mga happy times na ganyan. Kaya ngayon, ang plano ng China is to bring in Saudi Arabia. Yung mga may pera talaga ngayon para sila na lang mag-plug in. Kaya yung bisita ni BBM sa Saudi, sana naman, di ba? Pero pag-usapan natin yan later on. But let's please.
Richard, nung panahon ni Bigo, I used to go to China as part of a delegation.
Right.
Delegation of politicians, delegation of civil society, delegations of trade unions. No, nakatatlo, apat yata akong delegation sa China. During the part of Bigo, ang dami nagreklamo sa akin ng mga Chinese businessmen, no?
Yeah.
Na nagpapapicture sila with the wife of a high government official at humihingi ng 500,000 yuan for picture taking. And then with a high government official, very high, 1 million yuan just for a picture taking. No? And then I met a businessman na involves big-scale waste management. No? Nagreklamo siya, then meron siya nakausap sa Cebu na governor of the Visayas. Governor of the Visayas, no, na humihingi sa kanya ng advance para simulan yung project for waste management sa Cebu. No? Sabi ko sa kanya, there's no such thing as a governor of the Visayas.
Kasi nga, bawal ang Wikipedia.
Pinakita ko yung calling card, no? So ito yung...
Wala
Tingin mo
kasing
ba yung-
Wikipedia sa China kasi may
Ha?
Wikipedia niya.
Tingin mo ba
Pwede
yung
mo
mga
i-check,
Chinese
wala
babalik pa
talagang
dito?
governor.
Ha?
Visayas.
Babalik pa ba sila?
Ano na, Magellan?
Joseph
Ang
Tirembes,
pangalan ba,
no?
Magellan? Ano ba ang
Ha?
pangalan? Lapu-Lapu? Ano ba ang pangalan ng governor? Di,
Ha?
alam mo, Ronald, yun nga eh, na-misunderstood tayo na China hawk. Actually, I'm not. I had the best treatment every time I was in China. They
Yeah.
treated me with so much respect. Actually, Chinese ordinary people, I've had super good relationship with them. With a lot of my friends were Chinoy. Kaya ako ang inis ko is yung kapalpakan ng approach natin, panahon ni Digong. Sobrang amateur hour. And I actually feel for some of these Chinese businessmen who come to the Philippines thinking, ito ay isang Western democracy, high level, and then they go there, banana republic yung situation, di ba? See, we are fair, right? Hindi tayo haters dito, and I always wanted us to have good relationship with China, but on terms that is really mutually beneficial, like what they have here in Malaysia, in Singapore, and many other countries that I'm familiar with, including in Emirates, in the Middle East. They have very good relationship with China, and it's really mutually beneficial and respectful, no? Eh, parang naging Pakistan na ganyan na lang level natin, yung very subservient, walang nakuha masyado. But ibang usapan yan, ha? Mahabang usapan yan. Now, to end on this episode, sorry, sa sobrang excited ko, tawa ko, hindi ko na-record yan. Balikan natin yan because, speaking of letter R, Speaker Romualdez went to Pag-asa recently. I was like, really? Like, a speaker going there? Kasi alam ko si Belmonte gustong pumunta noong panahon niyo, di ba? And this is happening amid all the confidential funds. So the argument here is the West Philippine Sea issue becoming kind of the fault line, or even some using it as a way to marginalize the Duterte? Sorry, we have to repeat this part. Hindi ko na-record yan.
Dahil yan yung magiging isa sa mga major vulnerabilities ni Sara. No? Yan yung magiging isang major vulnerability ng kabal, ng alliance nila with GMA and the father, Digong. No? At the same time, alam ni Speaker Romualdez that this is very popular among Filipinos.
Right.
No? Itong ating resistance sa China at itong BRP Sierra Madre as the symbol, as the icon of that resistance. Hindi ako magugulat kung si Speaker Martin Romualdez ay pupunta sa unit. No?
Yeah.
Ang ganda ng narrative na yun, ang ganda ng picture taking na yun. No? Having lunch with the soldiers sa BRP Sierra Madre.
Right.
No? So it's now about whether he is really sincere or siya isang born-again nationalist is another thing. No? Pero from the negativity ng pro-China people ni Sara, GMA, at Digong, at saka yung positivity ng ating resistance sa Chinese aggression, tingin ko there will be more of this. There will be more of this drama. There will be more of these scripts. At there will be more of this change of narrative from yung pinag-uusapan natin that politics is basically local or barangay to a barangay in the middle of the
New Cold War.
The contentious West Philippine Sea.
Medyo new Cold War level, which we'll discuss in the next episode. We'll go base by base, literally, no? I-discuss din natin yan. I mean, going back to this, I mean, again, let's be political strategists here. If we were to advise Sara Duterte, who by the way, I think medyo nag-mountain climbing siya ngayon, medyo nagre-relax siya. Yeah, it's good for her. She looks happy, so I'm happy that she's happy. Now, she's having some time siguro to reflect kasi I think na-realize nila like, things didn't turn out how we expected in second year into office. So if this, let's say, if this were a chance for her to do not only soul searching but a strategic reboot, what would be our advice to Sara Duterte? Should she more openly distance herself from her father and try to strike a third way? Like, I'm neither too close to US like BBM, but I'm not gonna be like my father and all the mistakes. I mean, do you think she can conceivably even do that kind of strategy of presenting herself as a third way kind of a person?
Una dapat tanggapin na niya na tapos na yung kanyang intelligence at confidential fund. No? Ikalawa, ay lagyan na lang niya ng magandang spin. Sakyanan niya yung paglipat nitong intelligence at confidential fund, partly sa Coast Guard. Sakyanan niya. And then, pumunta siya sa unit. No? Pumunta siya. Unahan niya si Speaker.
Yeah.
No? If I were her. No? If I were advising her. Pero mukhang hindi pa naman niya sinisante yung kanyang mga advisors. No? With the advisors, strategies, and defenders like hers, who needs enemies?
She needs a cabinet reshuffle also, no? That's your suggestion,
Yeah.
no?
Kaya
Yeah.
nga, tingin ko kaya siya umakyat sa bundok sa Cebu, pagkatapos siya depensahan ni Panelo, pagkatapos siya depensahan ni Harry Roque, pagkatapos siya depensahan ng
Yeah.
kanyang tatay, tingin ko may kaunti naman siyang IQ to realize that this is a disaster. No? So change the narrative. No? Iwanan mo muna yan, no? Reflect, be more circumspect, and then adjust your strategy.
Maybe Sarah should also go to, I don't know, Ayungin or something. Maybe she should do the jet ski that the father
Jet ski,
promised.
yeah.
Maybe
With the
she should.
Philippine flag,
Maybe
no?
she can do the jet ski, right? She looks like someone tough.
Kaso baka may magsabotahe, lumubog.
Yeah, God forbid. Now, oh my goodness, this is crazy. Mahirap ka talagang kausap, Ronald. Makulit ka, mas makulit ka sa akin. I'm trying to behave and be serious, and then you say something like, alam mo, watch ko yung reaction ko kasi kunyari nagdi-disagree ako sa'yo, di ba? Horrible of you. I mean, I'm gonna be like British. It's like, that's unacceptable. I was like, gano'n ako sa'yo. May mag-British, ako, parang shocked. No, I mean, going back to this, Ronald, yun nga you're right. One of her problems is that yung mga impresarios niya are not helping her case, right? And I think she needs more effective PR's approach. Actually, I'm happy that Sara is distancing herself from all of those trashy bloggers. I think there would have been liability. She did a smart thing. But I think it's time for her to do it more professionally, more proactively, but not aggressively like her father's style, because that's not her. That's not gonna work with her. Tapos na yung Digong has his own way. So I think this is a time for her to do some reboot and approach is different. And what's interesting, Ronald, you talk to our partners and friends, they will say even if Sara were to win, we don't think she'll necessarily be like her father. So medyo mas kampante yung mga ibang aliado natin na hypothetical Sara Duterte presidency will be far more manageable than what they had under Rodrigo Duterte. Do you think they're being naive? Or do you think posible yan if Sara plays her card well and actually realizes this is the strategic reality in the Philippines? If you're the president of the Philippines, the Digong era is a sui generis. You cannot repeat that again.
Tingin ko, the rivals, the enemies, the detractors of Sara ay na-realize nila na hindi siya invincible.
Right.
Na-realize nila that she's vulnerable. And they will push that to the limit at this point. So kung hindi magbabago ng strategy si Sara, tingin ko talagang tatamaan siya in the next 2 years hanggang midterm. So after the midterm, na sana siya ang mangunguna, sana siya yung magiging leader going to 2028. Hindi na yan sigurado. Hindi na yan sigurado. Tingin ko kung next survey, bumaba pa siya, then the ship will really hit the fan. No? Tingin ko they will go for the jugular. Hindi ako magugulat kung the elephant in the room, the ICC, ay na dati, dinedepensahan nila si Digong. Imagine the entire Congress, the entire Senate, attacking the ICC, defending Digong from the investigation. I'm almost sure that is no longer feasible.
I mean, Digong is attacking now the Congress, right? I mean,
yes.
That's dangerous.
Yes.
This is the Congress that helped you on the AB.
Tapos kung totoo yung Vera Files,
Delikado
nakasama
yan.
si Sara sa binanggit ni Las Cañas.
Delikado yan.
Supporting the EJK. No? At the minimum kasi tatamaan siya kung yung kanyang tatay ay makakasuhan sa ICC. Magkakaroon ng international warrant or worse, ay papayagan ng Marcos government na dalhin sa Den Haag. Pero the worst case ay kung kasama mismo si Sara sa kaso. No? Yun yung paano nung dati kasi dahil mataas pa siya masyado ay hindi siya magalaw.
Yeah.
Dati nung hindi pa sila masyadong nag-all out against Speaker Martin, against Bongbong, ay nagbabacillate pa yung Marcos government. Pero mukhang ngayon tapos na yung vacillation. They can smell blood.
And it looks like BBM is also kind of like letting go of like, okay guys, I think you can have your own way. Parang may ganun ang dating niya sa akin eh. Like I think before BBM would be like, chill lang tayo, But I think now BBM is saying,
Ang tingin ko,
sige.
Richard, ang last straw dyan, ang last straw, will be the budget hearing and the BICAM in the Senate next month.
Mm.
No? Kung makikita mo na even the Senate ay tatanggalin na yung intelligence at saka confidential fund ni Sara, wala, irreversible na yan. Yung sword of Damocles ay hindi na mataas, malapit-lapit na sa bumbunan ng mga Duterte. It's almost touching the head. Hindi na siya malayo. So, yan yung malamang mangyari.
And
Hindi ko sinasabi na mangyayari, ha?
yeah, I mean, we're just
They will
exactly.
go for the jugular.
Yeah. Well, which brings us to your friend Robin Hood's the Robin Hood Padilla. Do you think Robin Hood will kind of pivot again? I mean, I've been stalking Robin Hood's Facebook for a while. Dahil I find his Facebook page very interesting, and in fact, he has many good things there. In fact, I was also wondering, is he gonna make statements on Gaza, etc., because he's supposed to be, the representative of the Muslim people in the Senate. But very safe yung kanyang mga page and all of that. But it looks like even Robin Hood is realizing he has to play this smoothly, right? Because I think he was under the impression since number one siya sa Senate, he will be going guns blazing, and things are turning out super different. Dinedma lang yung kanyang federalism on the West Philippine Sea, pinagtawanan na lang siya. I think he's also recalibrating and reading the writing on the wall, right?
That's true, Richard. No? Ngayon, hindi na siya leader ng PDP Laban. He's just an ordinary member.
Yeah.
Pwedeng it's a signal na nagbabackpedal na siya. Ayaw niyang madamay dito sa major offensive against his camp. No? Yun yung kanyang kwan. At I won't be surprised kung magne-negotiate siya. No? At least for the next few years until the midterm. After the midterm, pwede siya magbago ng strategy. Pero between now and the midterm, he has to survive. No? Kaya tingin ko yun yung dahilan kung bakit naging karaniwang member nila siya ng PDP Laban. If PDP Laban will be the main opposition sa midterm to the Marcos, tingin ko ayaw niyang masama ron.
Yeah.
For now, for now. Although, yung kanyang political future will still be with the Duterte camp. No? Ayaw niya munang ilabas yung kanyang leeg.
Yeah.
Dahil nakita niya na yung nangyari kay Sara at patuloy na mangyayari kay Sara. So, tama yung sabi mo, nag-recalibrate siya. Possibly, no?
Yeah, because the thing with Robin Hood, I mean, we already saw with Francis Tolentino, na he already went the other side, right? Like he's the man on West Philippines and Quad. So this is the Ronald Llamas of Digong, just to put things into perspective, right? Si Bato kasi ang issue niya may ICC angle. So he cannot go all the way. Kahit anong sayaw niya sa West Philippines, diyan sa arena, Philippine arena, the reality is that the ICC issue connected sa kanya kay Digong. So meron silang Siamese twin situation. But Robin Hood has some room for maneuver to find his way through, right? So it's a very variegated situation. Each of these Duterte allies in the Senate are now finding themselves with different calculus and different also positioning and all. So I find that very interesting. Now, before we close this episode, are you surprised by how Romualdez is moving? I mean, is he someone that you thought has this in him to push back the way he has? Are you surprised?
Not really. Although, yung kanyang biyahe sa Palasa, kulang ng build-up.
Yeah.
Parang bigla lang siya nag-parachute doon.
Oh,
no?
medyo
So
happy
medyo,
ako. Hindi ko rin napansin.
medyo kapos ng konti. No? Parang pilit. No, parang pilit. So, kailangan din niya ng build-up dahil hindi naman siya identified as an advocate to defend our West Philippine Sea. No? Yung, kailangan niya muna ng konting build-up para pagpunta niya sa Pag-asa, mas maganda yung narrative. Kung ako yung mag-advise sa kanya.
I mean, we're already advising for free, right? So, as political, kumbaga pioneer na tayo ng free political strategy. Kawawa talaga tayo. Hanggang free na lang tayo. No, I mean, I know naman for a fact that the good speaker has, by the way, when I say the good speaker, it's just an expression, right? It's like the good senator, yung mga tao talaga. They make issue talaga out of everything we say. Because I know the good speaker actually has a strategic team, which is focusing on West Philippine Sea, etc. So he has actually very smart people around him. including of course people like former National Security Advisor, my former professor Clarita Carla. So he's not lacking in people around him. But you're right, medyo hapyaw yung, in fact, even yung mga pictures niya, parang, I can teach you a bit more on posing. Like, you want to pose it, there's like a, I mean, may mga fake stolen shot style na I can teach you. Like, I'm just like,
Pero
there's,
si Saldi ko mukhang uncomfortable eh. No?
at saka yung,
Kasi siya advocate eh.
tsaka yung
Hindi
mukha
siya
nila
advocate.
Bronner. Yung mukha nila Bronner, di ba sinama pa sila AFP chief and all. Like, parang, let me do the production for you. Medyo, ano. So, medyo hapyaw, but you know, I think this is, ano yan, parang mga shots fired, mga first moves lang yan. They could be tweaking and improvement, but it's interesting.
Take two.
Take two actually, take two. Sayungin naman, sayung. Pero alam mo Ronald, bad ka. May mga nag-comment, bad talaga yung si Ronald. Yung suggestion ko sa jet ski, sabi ko mag-jet ski yung isa, sabi mo baka. Ang sama mo talagang tao.
Ko kasi.
Masamang tao ka talaga.
Kagabi si Jason Statham doon sa Meg 2. Meg 2, The Trench. Kalaban niya yung Megalo doon. Nakasakay siya sa jet ski. No?